and I just realized that my microphone was turned off, so I apologize for that. So we're gonna have silence. He says simp, pimp, and kings. I love that. I love that. Yes, that's actually, I really respect Mr. Blake's. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat what I said for those of you who came in and realized that the microphone was muted. But essentially, thank you, Maurice. It says that black women will ignore men like this and call them too weird, lame, nerdy, etc. But once he achieves success, and if he ends up with a woman like this, they will call him a sellout. Okay? So I want to talk about this because as a woman, it is horrible, absolutely horrible, when people give us these two options. Okay? And I would say, thank you so much. I appreciate that for letting me know. It would be the equivalent of of us telling men, you have to choose between a woman who is healthy, who is beautiful, and who is kind. Like, why are those our only choices? Why are they the only options? So I want to break this down, and I would love, love, love to have a woman come on, okay? And ladies, if you're not in a position to get on camera, turn the camera away from yourself, turn the camera off, whatever you need to do. I need to have a girlfriend's conversation, okay? I need to have a girlfriend's conversation because this is the stuff your mom's not going to tell you. This is the stuff that your mom is just going to be like, oh, baby, the right girl will. So the reason why I have it on YouTube as well, because you can see on YouTube the graphics, okay? So let's just go through, first of all, let's go through this picture that's on the screen, okay? So look at the first photo. I love it. Brittany says we were just talking about this. Let's look at the first photo. He has some glasses that are so, so, so unappealing to his face. He's wearing a vest. Well, I don't even call it vest. It's like, I don't know what you would call it. It's a sweater, but it's like a Mr. Rogers sweater. And he's got the tie, okay? Now, he's not an ugly guy. Like, obviously, he's not ugly. But there's nothing about this picture that says, I don't think, I would love for you to join on Instagram. Oh, you know what? Let's see. How can we do this? I'll have you join on Instagram because then the audio can come in and it's probably easier. Because otherwise, let's see. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the link on YouTube. And so you can come in either on YouTube or Instagram. I just want women for this, okay? Just for the beginning portion, I only want women. So let me grab this. Y'all, I'm doing this super impromptu, so we're having to do this on the fly. All right, so let me just grab this. All right. And I'm going to put this in. He said he's dressed like Urkel. Exactly. All right, so I just put the Zoom link on YouTube, so you can go on YouTube. If you want to request here on Instagram, that's fine to do on Instagram. They can still hear it on YouTube. So that's absolutely fine. Okay, so just let me know either way. She said, I always loved the thugs in high school. I never understood where. Oh, girls always love thugs in high school. So here's the thing. So Shay, I hope you come on, okay? So I just put the link. I just put the link on YouTube, and if you want to come in on Instagram, you can. And we'll just figure this out. They'll just hear it either way. But I want to break this down. Look at how he's looking. Now, in the second picture where he's getting the awards, now, yes, it serves for the narrative, oh, he got success. But even if he wasn't successful, the fact that he got clothes that look better on him, and he changed his look. He has a whole beard in the next picture. Okay, so you have a barefaced guy who, first of all, looks like he's like 17, 18 in this picture. And then you have a grown man who now has more muscles. You know, he's not super skinny in the first picture, but he looks more squared out in the shoulders. I don't understand why it has to be this extreme pendulum swing. So when a guy is, I feel like it's a way that men can make themselves feel better. It's the same way a woman who doesn't want to get in shape can make herself feel better because she's like, oh, they should just like my personality. But if your personality is hidden behind a package that's very distracting, like what are we supposed to do here? So feel free to come on, love, whenever you're ready. if you're coming on camera, I have it set to where if you're not on camera, it won't pop up. But if you do want to come on camera, feel free to come on. If not, you're welcome to just do audio, okay?
Okay, I can't hear your audio. I think is it my end?
Oh, you probably need to turn the volume down for YouTube.
Okay, hang on, let me...
Yeah, so just mute the whatever you're playing the YouTube on, and then you can hear me through Zoom. I think the meme is alluding to the difference in male selection criteria between African and non-African. But here's the thing. If that was the case, if it is, it's trying to make it a racial thing. But if that's the case, what I'm saying is she's picking him after he's successful and looking like this. So unless the meme is saying she picked him when he looked like the picture on the left, that's the part I'm confused about. So, all right. So I'm taking all women for this first because I want the men to hear it from the ladies. Can you hear me okay now, love? Okay, she's having some audio issues. It might be with your Zoom where you have to make the speakers, turn the speaker on. So just so people can be clear, we're talking about men who are not socially, what is the word? They're awkward. They're awkward socially. These are men who do not know how to dress. These are men who do not know how to handle themselves around women. And our only option, according to the narrative, oh, that's fine. You can come in on, you can come in here or you can come in on YouTube, love. So the comment is on YouTube, or the link is on YouTube. And, oh, there, I just pinned it. Okay. The link is on YouTube or you can come in on Instagram, either one. Thank you for the badge. Thank you, Maurice. All right, so trying to describe this person even more. I'm so fired up. Sorry, guys. But this guy doesn't know how to dress. He's super awkward. He just doesn't know how to be around people. All right, so let me fix this. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to...
Okay, I'm going to join on IG because this is, yeah, it's bothering me. I'm going to join on IG.
Oh, okay, so you can't hear very well? Oh, okay, she's going to come in on IG. Okay, so we got, oh, good, we got a lovely lady who's going to be coming on. This is awesome. And we could take more than one on Instagram, so it's fine. Hopefully you guys can hear on YouTube just as fine, okay? Hi, love.
Hey, let me turn off. How do you turn off this camera?
So I think in the top corner, I think you can click the drop down, but there should be an icon, or just tap your screen. There should be an icon that has the video camera. There you go.
Okay, perfect.
Girl, when I found out about that, I was like, yes.
I'm like, we were just talking about this, so of course I'm gonna have to join the conversation on this.
Please. You know what I'm talking about, though?
I know what you're talking about, and that's where I'm like, men use that as an excuse to downplay women and say, oh, you must be choosing the thugs. Like, I hate that whole concept that if you're a single mom, it's because you chose these street dudes or the thug. And it's like, no, he's not. You know, things just don't work out. And this can also be the nerdy guy. Like, I've done both. So
there's that too. Yeah.
I've done both. That's the thing. Like, I've dated both. And both can be horrible people as well. These could be people that could cheat on you as well.
So you're saying that all nerds aren't saints? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yes, girl. I am saying that. I am saying that. Like, I don't know why they think like, oh, he's not the cool guy. I think a lot of these men are acting out of a place of high school trauma where the bad boys were getting all the attention and they weren't. So now they are grown adults still thinking about high school.
And I love that because that was actually the second thing I was going to get into, but it was perfect that you brought it up now. Just for everyone who's tuning in. So 2 things. One, we're given 2 choices as women from a lot of this narrative, is that either you have a thug, okay, you have to have some hardcore gangster thug, or you have to have some nerdy Urkel. Why in the world are those our only choices? That's like saying I want food that's either cold or has a hair in it. And then the second thing is you were saying how it's painted as though the good guy is the nerdy guy is automatically going to be a catch, and he's always going to be better than the thug. I love. Oof. Shay, you want to weigh in on this, love?
I do. So I'm coming in with a little bit of a different perspective because I think that what they don't understand is that narrative does black men a disservice because it puts them in a box. And we love to say things like, or at least I hear men say like, well, all men aren't the same. I agree because I've dated men on the spectrum, right? I don't believe in saying I'm going to box men into, okay, I have to choose out of these two categories. And then we wonder why they go in public and then they're treated like they're the thug. Well, clearly, you just told me the nerd is in the office and the thug is on the street. So how else are they supposed to view you? You know, I mean, is anybody else picking up that this is doing them a disservice and we have to expand the conversation in a way that goes way beyond this because it's limiting. That argument alone is so damaging to our community. I don't think we understand how damaging it really is.
It's absolutely horrible. I'm going to put a picture up, okay? And so those of you on YouTube, you could see this. I know the bottom one is Elon Musk, and the top one I don't know, but they're two tech guys, okay? And for Instagram, I'm going to do my best to describe what it looks like, okay? The top picture, oh Lord, I wish y'all could see this picture. The top one, this guy has, the receding hairline. He's got an ill-fitting sweater. It's not a tight sweater that's, hugging your muscle. It's just like this, like, hanging off his shoulders type of a deal. And then he has either what looks like a mock turtleneck or a button-up with the collar sticking out. So he just looks like some disheveled tech geek. I'm just being honest. The next picture, he looks like Vin Diesel. So it's a before and after. They had makeovers. So the next picture, he's taken the rest of his hair off. He doesn't have the Jefferson, little peninsula thing going on. And then he's got some shades, some like, nice fashionable looking shades. And he's not wearing some, name brand thing, because I'm not in a name brand, but he has ripped arms now. Bulging biceps. He has on this kind of like the New York style vest. It's like that like puffy vest kind of thing. And just a button-up polo. Like, the outfit is not incredible, but it's fitting him differently because he bulked up. His neck looks like 4 inches wider, and he's just holding his head back. The first picture, he's like this. And the second picture, he's got his shoulders back. It is like night and day. That's why I wish people could see. Jeff Bezos is the top picture. Yeah, I don't know people's names. Thank you. So night and day. The bottom picture, same thing. I don't know if he got hair plugs, whatever. I'm not trying to be catty, but it just happens to be a well-known person. But his hair seems to be receding. He has some weird like blonde highlights, and he's wearing this crew neck long sleeve shirt. The second picture, he has a nice shirt and a nice jacket, and he has an up-to-date haircut. And this is a 2017 picture. So it's the same person. It's not like we're saying you need to be America's Next Top Model. You could be the same person, but not be the best version of yourself. So I didn't mean to go on such a long tangent, but y'all, I'm in my feelings right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm like so bothered by this narrative that it's just women picking badly.
Why did he have to wait to get money to be presentable the way he wants to dress? Because women, regardless of our money status and what's going on in life,
come through.
Men expect us, whether we have kids and we're working a 9 to 5 just like them, to come home and take care of the kids, and they still expect us to have our ish together and look good and presentable, but it's like, the men wait until they get money, and then they're mad at the women for noticing. Like, attraction is a thing on both ends.
On both ends.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm different, but there are women who, if the man's coins are up high enough, she just is attracted to the green. I'm the person who I'm like, I have to actually touch this person. Like I have like if the idea of you touching me makes me recoil, if the idea of kissing you makes me just like, and I don't even mean that they're ugly. It's just I'm not drawn to them. It's like, are we not allowed to be attracted to the men too? I mean, because if I was a guy, I would want my woman to be attracted to me.
No, because so many women have put out there that, looks doesn't matter because men are looking at men who have money and they're not attractive, but they get the baddie, right? But the women are attracted to lifestyle and security. That's a particular type of woman. And best believe, if she's not attracted to you, some of these women are entertaining other men. Or they're flirting with other men. Or when they go out with their girls, they're definitely, and they get hit on by the nice looking guy, they're going to give them the time of the day. So looks and attraction matter. And it doesn't matter if the world doesn't think that person is attractive. You have to think that person is attractive.
Right.
So you're presenting yourself as this insecure man that's corny, tech, whatever. It's not about the money always. It's also how you present yourself. And if that person is attracted to you, you cannot be mad that women were not attracted to you when you were dressed in the way you were dressing.
Yes.
I agree. And it's funny because someone said in the comments on IG, there has to be an intangible vibe with someone to be attractive. And I am one of those women that's like, looks are not at the top of my list because I've dated very attractive men, whatever the case is. I've dated men with money. I've dated a variation of men. I am big on energy. I am big on the way you make me feel. I am one of those girls, like a guy is just good. His energy is good. I'm sorry. I don't know your name, sweetie. The other lady that just.
Oh, I'm trying to see, and I can't even see the names anymore. Let's see. Oh, Brittany. There you go. Brittany and Shay.
So Brittany just said, and I thought it was important. She said, they have to look good to you, right? So I do think they're attractive, and my family is like, hey, you know how to pick them, and I'm like, what? Nice. One of my friends who will actually like date a guy. I mean, I guess maybe not conventionally attractive, but it's still something about him that, to be transparent with y'all, money cannot buy, because money still can't buy confidence. Money still cannot buy.
Right.
Invest in yourself as a person to be a person, person. You have to be into those things yourself.
Yes.
So you're not going to be enough for some women. Like, you can still be a really crappy person just because you got money. You know, then like that.
You're a wealthy, crappy person.
Yeah, like what? Be around you. Your kids don't even like you. That sounds bad.
Oh my goodness. I want to get into something else too, because somebody was saying about being shallow, or I forget what, or vain or something. Here's the thing. It's not even always about the physical look. Like I said, even in the first picture when I was breaking it down, the posture is so different. When just this, you guys, just this move right here changes the game. How you walk. I don't know about you ladies, but when I was on a dating app and I was looking at pictures and things, I could not notice body language. I would see in the picture if he was like kind of slumped over, or if he was holding his shoulders back. That says a lot about a guy. And here, this is the comment I'm getting at. It says, at the end of the day, looks can't bring you security. This is what needs to be broken down. Why does it have to be either or? Why does it have to be security or looks? What I'm saying is, why can't we be a well-rounded person? If you have a person who is a presidential candidate, you could literally be the most talented person for the role, but you cannot come in looking crazy and represent the United States of America. You cannot come in with a stained shirt. You cannot come in, I would really want, no. Like, how you carry yourself is so important. And I feel like there's this push on, God, I shouldn't do lies when I'm triggered, because then I start stuttering. I'm so annoyed right now. It's this idea that it's all or none. I get women who say it's not fair that my personality doesn't matter, and I say no one sees your personality on a dating app. No one sees your personality from across the room. You have to look your best. If you're wearing a haircut or a hairdo that is not flattering to you, I can't help the fact that you're lessening the people who are going to be attracted to you. Why do we have to be so politically correct? This is not reality.
It's like the men want us to take whatever they give us, but they have all these requirements for women. You can't be overweight. You have to be attractive to them. And you have to have a great personality. But when we ask for the same, they're like, no. All you should worry about is security. And it's like, no, like, I'm going to have, this is going to sound kind of bad, but.
Kids with you?
It's not, okay, hold on. Let me shake this up.
Right.
I say this to my friends, and they're like, what? Like, okay, think about it. I've seen this happen. You would hate to have married a woman who's not attracted to you. She thinks you're ugly, right? And you marry her. She treats you right. She loves you. She has your children. Your children look just like you. That woman is going to think her kids are ugly.
Oh.
And I've seen it happen where people are like, oh, you look like your ugly daddy. I've heard people say that.
Wow.
It's not about what society thinks. It's about what you think. You have, like, and it sounds bad, but I've heard that before. I've heard it many times. So I'm like, you want to be with somebody who's attracted to you and all the way around, and not be praying when they're pregnant if they don't look like their dad. Because I've seen that so many times. People don't want to talk about that, but that needs to be said out loud. Maybe if you want, but that needs to be said out loud, because these are the conversations that women are having behind closed doors, that they're hoping and praying that their kid don't look nothing like their dad and look like them. I have not had a kid by anybody that I felt like I wouldn't want them to look like their dad. Even though other people be like, oh, he's not cute. I don't care. I think he's cute. I think he's attractive. I find him attractive, and that's what's important.
She said, I want to look at my spouse like I look at a filet mignon with blue cheese crumbles. She said attraction matters. I'm a Jay Walker. That you're welcome to put a request in. I've got someone trying to come in on Zoom, and for whatever reason, it's not. I'm trying to let you in, and it just won't let. I've been trying, so I don't know why it's not letting me in. Who are these guys that think attraction doesn't matter? It looks like we might. Did you get in? I have it set to where I can't see it until they turn their camera on. Okay, so let's see. What was it? I just lost my thought. So what I want to give some ladies. Let's give some constructive tips to men. Okay.
So before the tip, can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
So as a sex educator, and I'll keep it clean. When we talk about attraction, right, and we talk about the fact that men are visual creatures and they're sexually driven, things like that, women's bodies also work with us in pleasure, right? We work with our partners in pleasure. So if I'm not sexually aroused, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm not going to get wet. Sex is not going to be...
Anatomically...
Yeah, and who wants to be with a person for years and you guys are not having good sex? Sex is not supposed to hurt. If she is not, wet, moist, whatever the case, if she's not aroused, she's going to be in pain sexually. And I'm sorry, sex and pain, they don't go well together. So
right.
We do have to be transparent about how important attraction is for both parties. I'm not taking anything away from men. I'm just saying that in order for a woman's body to respond to you in a way that's pleasurable for both of you, she also has to have an attraction to you.
No, it is absolutely true. Absolutely true. I've said that to people. I said, even if she tries to fake it, it's going to be like, what's that? When you're trying to like skid on your feet are you're trying to skid on your feet are sweaty. It's just not going to work. This is the...
They pretend for the bag. They pretend.
Look.
Shouting and screaming and faking because they know they're going to get a nice bag at the end.
And here's the thing. Somebody said attraction fades, so how would you handle that? Let me reset this so people who just came on understand what we're talking about. We are not talking, well, I'm not talking about somebody has to be drop dead gorgeous, supermodel, and that's the only thing drawing us in. That's not what's being said. It's super important that we make it really, really clear. What I'm saying is men and women should not be lazy when it comes to their own attractiveness. So your level of attractiveness, let's just say if we put people on scales, some people are 10s, some people are 7s at their best, some people are 8. This is a real thing. The Bible even talks about attraction. Rachel was a baddie, okay? Leah, not so much. So this isn't something that we are making up, but this is what I'm saying. And for everyone who thinks it's about being shallow, listen to what I'm saying before you make your judgment. What I'm saying is we are human beings and we have these two things on our face. They are called eyeballs. As much as you want to be, this benevolent person who just doesn't see anything, you can see what's appealing visually. Otherwise, we wouldn't have interior decorating. We wouldn't have cars that are different. Like, come on, we can see differences in things that look nice, okay? But what I'm saying is, even if you are not a 10 without trying, there are some people who are a 10 without trying, I'm saying don't use that as an excuse to not level up. That's what I'm saying. So men, this is why I wanted to give the examples. Men, go to the gym. Go look at styles. Go look at clothing to see what looks good on you. Learn how to carry yourself. Learn body language. That's what I'm saying. If you're overweight, understand women want to be attracted to you as well. So it's this notion that if a man's not getting picked, it's all the woman's fault. No, there are things that you can do on your end to step it up. He said, take a bath. Mr. Allen, can you hear us?
I can. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. I gotta ask you, sorry, I'm bad at doing the pleasantries. How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Have you heard this excuse from men before? As I don't know if men pay attention to this. But have you seen the guy who has nothing going for himself as far as sexual attraction, who makes the excuse that women just don't have good taste? Have you ever seen that type of a thing? This guy is disheveled, wrinkled clothes, foggy glasses, smudged up, 170 pounds dripping wet.
Yeah. So I think the disconnect between men and women is I think men are saying that women are making concessions for certain types of men for certain types of reasons and not other men for other reasons. So what I mean by that is, for instance, I had a conversation with the young lady who went viral yesterday on my channel. And I asked her, I was like, okay, why does it seem like it's easier for a woman to see a potential nuclear physicist in a drug dealer than it is to see a potential personality in a nuclear physicist? Does that make sense? Like, a lot of times we see somebody who has charisma and has swag and has all that good shiny stuff, but nothing else. But it's like we're willing to, make an exception for him in that way than somebody who has substance but none of the swag.
Okay, I can answer that because I had to think about that for a second. So this is where it becomes confusing. You're taking if a person is taking a thug, that person is automatically disqualified from this conversation. Because if we look at I'm saying outliers. I know there are a lot of people who do that, but I'm saying outliers from this conversation. So let's not respectfully look at the unhealthy people, because this conversation is about healthy people. So if you were to say, why is it that she gives him a chance? Well, it's because for her, that's the only thing that matters. It would be the same as a guy who takes a beautiful woman who has nothing to offer. That's just him being shallow. So the reason why I'm saying let's take that out is because we all agree on that. We all agree that that's silly to give a thug a chance because he's a thug, okay?
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying let's eliminate that. What I'm saying is the second part. why is and I actually talked to her as well too, so I know which guy you're talking about. The nuclear physicist, which I actually didn't see what everyone else saw about him being corny or whatever. I actually thought he carried himself well. They were talking about him breathing hard and all this, but I'm like, okay, but let's just say he was corny. My thing is, why shouldn't he get himself together? That's what I'm saying. Why shouldn't he improve himself? The same way a woman who has a beautiful personality is going to be a wonderful mother and can throw down and cook better than your mom and grandma combined, but she's 300 pounds. We say to her, why not lose weight or get clothes that fit better or something like that? I'm saying, why does the guy not have to get himself presentable on the outside?
No, I agree with that point 100%. I think, I'm a big advocate for self-improvement. I think what guys are saying, though, is like, what raw material would you rather start with?
Why we gotta start with the millionaire?
Because nobody's perfect. And it's like, you gotta make some kind of concession in the beginning. And I think, to your post, like, you use Childish Gambino, and it's like, okay, when he becomes somebody, and he's got a white wife and the whole nine, a lot of our women are saying that all the good ones get themselves a white girl. But what men are saying is that she invested in me when I didn't have swag.
But is that really what happened with him?
No, I don't know with him, but I'm just using
right.
him as a case study. So it's like we're prioritizing the wrong things. I think it's the only pushback.
And I want to say just really quick, and I'll let you jump in, love. I'm not disagreeing that, if a person sticks it out, that's fine. What I'm saying is, why are these people making it an either or? I am saying a person who is an actual catch is a person who works not only on their inside, but their outside. I'm saying, if you are 30 years old, I should not have to teach you how to get dressed. I should not have to teach you how to find glasses that fit your face or get contacts. I should. Ladies, what do you want?
See, I agree with that 1,000%. All I'm saying is, from a male standpoint, it seems like if presented to men, right, to women, guy A and guy B. Guy A has swag, but he's unemployed and he's unintelligent. Guy B doesn't have swag, but he's employed and intelligent. It seems like women would rather start with guy A and try to turn him into the employed, intelligent guy than start with guy B and try to turn him into the swagalicious guy.
So the only reason...
Just giving both sides of that spectrum.
And the reason why they probably do that is because they know that there's at least that animalistic sex appeal. There's that. So I'm not saying that that's not happening. That is the narrative that is always being talked about. But to me, if you have a person you have no sex appeal with versus the person you do have sex appeal with, that to me isn't mind-blowing. Like, that's not confusing. I don't not understand why someone picked that. That's like saying a really unattractive woman with a great personality versus a drop-dead gorgeous woman. I don't think, if you had gun to your head, pick one of the two, I don't think a lot of guys are picking the unattractive woman.
I think the tough part is that we were essentially lied to as men, because we were told that women prioritize different things. And it's like, nowadays, what we're learning is that women are prioritizing the same things we're prioritizing. So whereas I think we were told that, if you were a guy of substance, she would make concessions for the fact that you might not be that swagalicious and maybe invest in you that way.
Right.
Versus now, it was like women would rather invest in the guy with swag and, let him drive her car and the whole nine.
Okay, can I say something?
Yeah.
I feel like there is a lot of women who would date a guy like that. A lot of black women that will date a guy like that, but they don't want those type of girls. They want the women who are the baddies, very attractive, who tend to date men who match their energy, their swag, their coolness. They want those girls. there's also women who are very, very intelligent, may not be a 10 or a 9, but maybe a 5 or a 4, but they don't want those women. So they go outside their race and end up getting an average looking white woman or Hispanic, whatever race, and that's susceptible to them because they view them as higher than the geeky black girl. So let's take a look at the men too. We got to take some accountability of what type of women they're going for. They want the model-less looking woman when she has options to choose from, not the thug with the no job, but she chooses the king who has it all because she has options. But they also want to get chose because they're like, well, I'm smart, but you're not. She's smart too. She's beautiful. She knows how to dress. She puts herself together. Therefore, she's going to find somebody to match her exact energy as well because they can connect on a deeper level while the other guy don't want to go for the woman that's on his level. He can easily go for another black woman that's in the same office that he works in a tech. But he doesn't want to go for the black tech women because she may not be that attractive, but he'll go outside his race because he's going to put another race above the geeky black woman. So let's start there with that discussion in reality.
I think that's interesting. I think that's a discussion that I definitely have. But I think to say, or for us to continue to say that these men are leaving simply because they think they get more brownie points with the unattractive white woman than with the medium attractive black woman, I think it's overly simple. I think we have to address the masculine epidemic in our women these days. So a lot of times that black woman who's also in your office, she's pretty much a dude. She moves, talk like a dude. So it's like I would rather, and I'm somebody who's advocating for black love. Yonci knows. Like I go hard for black love, but at the end of the day, we can't excuse these grown ass men saying that they're taking their business to Thailand because our women are insufferable.
So okay.
It's not simply that.
I like that you said it's not a simple thing because it's not. The whole pathology behind why we navigate spaces as black men and black women like with each other. So y'all have touched on a lot of things. I'm gonna reiterate a few things. I'm gonna go back to you, brother. You asked a question earlier, Yonci. I know you didn't want to really talk about it, but there's a certain charisma and characteristics psychologically that a lot of people are attracted to. It doesn't matter if it's the nerd or the thug. So I do think that, again, when women do choose like the thug, somebody in the comments said it's the excitement, it's there's an energy, Yonci said it, that we're matching or that women are matching in general when it comes to that. So there's a safety aspect behind a man that has confidence and a man that's not timid, which is what Yonci is talking about. Having those guys that are the good guys and the nice guys and the physics, and, or the physicians or whatever, them having a certain level of confidence because women still want to feel safe. In addition to that, unfortunately, right, in our community as black women, and this is coming from a black girl, I grew up like very passive. I wasn't like the extra hard or super masculine. Like that's not like I don't identify with that. But I will tell you that as a more passive, soft black woman, like growing up like that, it doesn't feel that safe. Like it doesn't feel that safe to be soft and feminine. I'm a recluse. I'll be very honest. Out of safety. Like I could go be masculine and could go do that, but that's not my comfort zone. But I can't understand why some black women do it out of like a safety thing. If you don't feel safe in the world, which black men don't either, we're gonna be honest, we don't feel safe as black people. If you don't feel safe as a black man in the world because y'all getting gunned down and everything else is against y'all, we're also, as women, I believe it. Y'all don't have to, but I do. I love the Bible, so I believe that women are the weaker. So it's like we're the ones that are to be protected. So if you don't feel safe, how am I supposed to feel? Can you protect me? What can you do? So if I have to protect myself, I can understand the disconnect and why black men will go outside of their race, but those women are protected by their men. Look at their communities of men. Well, I grew up in California. Mexican men take care of their women. The Asian men I know take care of their women. The white men I know take care of their women with no complaints. This whole pandemic, I work in real estate. This whole pandemic, I watched men of all races talk about how their wives were at home taking care of the kids. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is not the conversations I'm hearing Black people have. Like, we're not talking about, man, you know, my wife's really holding it down, man. You know, she's really getting this kid thing down, you know, while these men are outside working every day. I watched that and it made me so sad for our community because I was like, these are not our conversations. Black women don't have the luxury. We just don't. And so we can't shape our relationships like theirs. We have to do something different. We have to have these conversations. I'm enjoying this because, brother, even hearing your perspective, I'm like, yeah, I can agree with a lot of what you're saying. These are the conversations, obviously, that we need to be having because we can't keep looking at it through a lens that doesn't work for us. We can't.
And I wanted to bring this back because one of the things I've noticed when there are conversations, not specifically this one, but just in general, when there are so many little parts, it's like impossible trying to get all of the pieces to line up. So what I'm going to do is break down some of the individual things, but I want to start with the very first one, which is the thing that I really wanted to unpack because I feel like everyone's going to disagree if we add all the pieces. What I want to ask is this one piece. If a person is not at their best, whose fault is that? Whose issue is that? Why is it that people are asking the opposite sex to make allowances for things that they themselves can improve? That's what my issue is. There's a reel that says, I love a woman who can slay one day and look homeless the next. I can look homeless just like the rest of people. I can wear ill-fitting clothing that you cannot see my waist. It looks horrible. I've learned that if I wear a boxy shaped outfit, it does not do me justice. If I have my hair pulled back a certain way, it's very unflattering. I have learned, like, I can't wear yellow. I have a lot of yellow undertones. I have had to figure out the things that made me personally look my best. I had an accident in 4th grade that messed up one of my teeth and made it discolored. I took active steps on trying to become the best version of myself that I could be. My family, we have crazy eyebrows, real thick eyebrows. I know that's not in right now. So what did I do? I shaped them in a way that I felt framed my face and was kind. I learned how to do my hair. I did whatever I could do to be at my personal best. And so what I'm asking is, why is there no accountability for the men who dress horribly? Not talking name brand. Horrible dressers. Don't know how to get a haircut that looks good on them. Do not know how to walk with their shoulders back. And are socially awkward. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying not extremes. You know, the other option is a thug. Can we just...
I agree with that. I think, you know, the angle that I'm coming from, because, you know, I'm a dude, I'm 29 years old. And if you go to any barbershop or you see a group of dudes having conversations, we kind of know it's an unspoken rule. If she has big titties, she's going to have a small ass. And if she has a fat ass, she's going to have small titties. And what I mean by that is, like, with people, you have to make concessions. And with these men that women are claiming to want, typically those men are on their grind, they're on their purpose, they don't have time for it, they have no interest in dating seriously. And then the alternative ends up being the dude who does want to date seriously, he wants to date intentionally, but he might not have the swag of guy A.
But wait, I'm sorry, I gotta pause you really quick. You gave an example of something that someone cannot control. And I purposely gave examples of things that are in control.
Oh, no. I wasn't talking about it in that sense.
Okay, you're just saying that pick your struggle?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
so, like, you know...
But I'm so sorry, but even still with the picking the struggle, those are still struggles based on things the woman cannot change. If a man works out, he can be wealthy.
I'm talking about from the male view. So I'm talking about from the male point of view. Like, do you want a woman with a fat ass, or do you want a woman with big titties? So it's just the choice A or choice B.
But I think that's like saying a guy whose beard connects, or a guy who's, like he has no control over the beard connecting. I'm just saying I like when. No. If we're gonna compare.
Yeah, no. I think we're missing each other. I'm just talking about men know that you have to make a compromise.
Okay.
You have to compromise on something. And the only reason I brought up that example is if you want the dude who is swagged out of the whole nine, chances are he's not going to want to take you seriously. But if you want the dude who's going to take you seriously, unfortunately, if you're under a certain age, chances are he might not have the swag that you want. Because when I'm talking to women, the complaint that I get is, when I'm dating and I meet a guy who does want to date intentionally and who is dating for marriage, he's not necessarily the guy with swag. And when I meet a guy with swag who I'm interested in, he doesn't have time for me. So I guess guys are just saying, pick your struggle. Which one do you want?
But this is the thing. You're speaking to the woman respectfully. You're saying to the woman, pick your struggle. What I'm saying is this conversation is to the men. I want the men to answer this because yes, women, we can adjust and we can do whatever, make our choices. I'm asking about the men. Why, if the man, because the reason where this came from is the man who's upset. I get the men on my channel saying, I can't get a date to save my life. I click on their page and 2 seconds later, I'm like, I see why.
Yeah. So full transparency, I actually tell men not to date. I actually tell men, especially men around my age, that their only priority should be their purpose, right? Because it's your garden that's going to feed a woman. It's your garden that's going to give you the sense of confidence and foresight to be attractive to women. So you have to first build your garden before you go out there and date. With that being said, women don't like that message. Women don't like me telling young dudes to not date until they are the type of guy that they admire. So in the meantime, if you insist that they date, you have to pick from guy A who doesn't have time for you.
That's not the group though.
Who doesn't have swag.
I'm not talking about before he gets to his purpose, because I tell them the same thing. A man who should be on his focus. He should be on his purpose. He should be this. I told my son this last night because he's 17. I'm talking about the guy who has reached the place. He has his money now. He's in a position where he's ready to start a family. These are the men coming to me and complaining that they cannot find. So I want to really make sure. The reason why I'm being so tough is because I really want to make sure we're talking about the same age group, everything. This guy is 35 to 45. He has his stuff together. He's ready to marry. The only thing he's missing is he's 175, 180 pounds. He is socially awkward. He takes pictures on social media like this. He just has no sense of like social awareness. He's socially awkward. I don't know if I'm not explaining it in a way. It's like it's there are so many guys who say the reason I can't get picked is because women are so busy choosing thugs. And if they keep telling themselves that narrative, they are never going to go into the gym. They are never going to go into even the mall and just say, hey, can you give me some recommendations on what I can wear? You could take a woman who can grab a guy off the street and give him a makeover. I don't, maybe I just am not explaining it. The ladies are getting what I'm saying, but I get...
I think at first we were missing each other, but I understand what you're saying. With those guys, if you're 35 years old, have found success without gaining charisma or style or interpersonal skills, I don't understand that. I guess my focus is more so the guys who are somewhere closer to I understand what's going on. I understand how women work. because, you know, part of my ministry has been trying to equip nerds with some future-esque skills. Because unfortunately, you have to have a little bit of both, right? But yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you. I don't believe in anybody complaining. I think when you grow up, the first thing you should have is self-awareness, and you should be able to like diagnose what your issue is. And if you're socially awkward the whole nine, I tell men straight up, you don't deserve a woman.
Yeah.
You don't deserve pussy. You don't deserve. Like, my issue with our culture right now is like there's this idea that everybody deserves everything, regardless of who they are, regardless of how they look, regardless of how they're coming. So I'm just saying, for the younger women who are, you know, pressuring certain guys to like either jump into a relationship, if that's what you want, you might have to go a different way with the guy that you are pressuring. That was my aim.
And I get passionate, so I hope it didn't seem like I was coming at you.
Well,
It's
I understand.
my heart breaks for these guys who, you know, they really are telling themselves that they are victims, that these women are just horrible. The women are just not giving him a chance. But the reality is, if they were a woman somehow, they wouldn't even pick themselves. And so the comments did not freeze, but sometimes if you scroll as a guest, it will make it do that. It's the worst. If you want to come out and come back in, it'll pop back up, Brittany, if you want to do that. But I think that it's important. Shay says, if you don't date, we'll be socialized or socially awkward around women. That is a good point, though. I do agree that men need to focus on their goals and, you know, stay focused there. But I also think that it is important to be self-aware. Like, just because you're not dating, you could still go to functions. You can still do things. I almost am curious if I had an opportunity for men to come on, you know, in more of a private setting and have the women give their feedback. Because I think sometimes people are not aware, just self-aware of how they present. I mean, I've had people on my live stream who come on and it's just like awkward. They can't read the room. They have a hard time going with the flow. They just cannot. They can't. And I don't know if you can teach that to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a talent, but it can also be a skill. You know, so for me, I worked in sales, and right now I work in research. So my entire job has always been to crack the human psychology. So I have to think from your perspective. And I think, you know, the dudes with the awkward social skills and the whole nine, they just don't have that skill. But it can be honed. I think my issue is I just don't have sympathy for adults who, for whatever reason, nothing has kicked you in the ass to be like, okay, let me sit down and understand how shit actually works.
Right.
You know, so I feel you.
I just, my heart goes out because I know that not everybody, you know, is a 10. Like, I know that the majority of people are not considered 10s. That's why it's an exception for someone to be a supermodel or even a model. I know that's not it. And I don't want people to think that I am pushing looks and acting like it is the end all be all and that it is more important than personality. Please do not hear this conversation and think I'm saying that. What I'm saying is you owe it to yourself to be a grown man and be a grown woman. Go to your cousins, go to your family members who you know love you, go to childhood friends and say, look, I cannot score to save my life. What is it that I could do to improve? And I guarantee you, those people can help you. He says, focus on your purpose first, everything else will fall in place. I agree that you should focus on your purpose first, but what I'm saying, sir, is that even if this guy becomes a multi-millionaire and he's confident in his business, not every man is confident around women. I have had men who were so awkward around me, it made me uncomfortable. They were not sure of themselves. I had a guy who was actually handsome, like a really good looking guy, 6'4". He had everything going for himself. He was so insecure. It was physically uncomfortable for me. I was just cringing all the time. And I said,
and I think,
yeah, no, go ahead.
I think that's the biggest lesson for men. Like, so if any men are listening, or any boys are listening, the biggest thing to understand is, like, you can look like Adonis, but if you open your mouth and you ain't got no bass in your voice,
yes,
it's over with.
yes.
If you walk all frumpy, it's over with. And in the inverse, you might not be blessed physically.
Right.
But if you have a certain charisma, if you can talk good, if
Thank
you
you.
Cool, you smell good, you can actually make up for that. So what I do, and what I encourage dudes to do, is, because men are pragmatic and men are methodical. We're like step 1, step 2, step 3. So step 1 is figure out what archetype of man. So celebrities, you can even do a vision board and put up dudes who have success with women.
Right.
And then deconstruct what it is about those dudes. Because I think where men fail is we fixate on the physical stuff that we can't control. Oh, he gets women because he's 6'3". I know short dudes who would blow him out of the water. He gets women because he's light skinned. I know dark skinned dudes who blow him out of the water. So when you start deconstructing those nuances, because unfortunately, and I don't know if you'll agree on this, Yonci, but sometimes women are not consistent in what they say they want.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. 100%.
I see a girl who says, I'd never date somebody under 6'3", and the love of her life was 5'8".
Yep.
Right? So all those rules are only for the dude that she doesn't like. And you can bypass those rules if you know how to actually finesse female psychology. And
yes.
what it is, at its core, is, are you memorable?
Yes.
Do I associate you with an emotion? Do I associate you with safety in the whole nine? So it's less about the things you can't control, because that's where
you preaching.
Guys get caught up. Yeah, they get caught up in the, I'm not physically attracted. You can trick them. I'm gonna put it like that. You can trick.
Seriously.
You think you're physically attractive. That's a fact.
I always give this example, and I feel so bad because I don't like using, actual people, but I don't think, one, he'll ever see this because he's famous, and I'm sure he won't cry himself to sleep. But Snoop Dogg, I am not physically attracted to him. If I saw him, I like a guy who's bigger, whatever, but he has this larger-than-life vibe, and it's not about his money, so please do not think it's about his money, because I've had people approach me with money and no vibe, and I was no go. But he has this charisma that draws a person in. And so it's true that the looks are not everything. The looks are not that's what they say, he's rich. No, I've literally had people. I have had I'm not going to say names. I have had people reach out to me who were extremely wealthy, and I was falling asleep on the FaceTime. Falling asleep. This guy had the most boring personality, and I could be living the high life. Okay, so I hate when people say it's about money, because like I said, he said you're using a multimillionaire. I used him because he is somebody that everybody knows. If I say my neighbor Joe, you're not going to know who he is. That's the only reason I use Snoop, because I'm saying physically he is not someone I find attractive. There have been other people. Just on Sunday, I saw a guy. I went to an event. I saw a guy. I said, "Oh, look, who is that?" He kind of looked like Common, and I think Common's very handsome. And when I got to talking to him, this guy is physically very attractive, taller than me, the whole nine. Soon as we started talking, I was like, "Oh,
Right.
it goes hand in hand."
Yeah. What blew my mind is, and I think this is the disconnect between men and women, is men are afraid to admit when a dude is physically attractive. I'm not, right? But what I learned was the dudes that I think, so for instance, Boris Kojo, even as a dude, I could be like, you know what, that's a handsome dude.
Right.
But what I found out is the people I expect women to think is handsome aren't the people that women think are handsome. Like, I've had a girl say her crush is Charlie Wilson. I've had another girl say her crush is Kendrick Lamar. Like, it'll be random stuff, and it's like there's no objective evidence to that. But I think I think the thing is, right? Somebody said that love is about being able to see yourself from another perspective. And I found out that actually what works the best at its core is when you're able to give people permission to be themselves. And I think to the nuclear physicist thing, since he led with the whole resume, then if you're interacting with him, you feel like you have to button up, so you can't let your head down. But the dudes who actually do well are the dudes who give you permission to just be your unapologetic full self. And I think that's what women are looking for. I don't think women articulate it well. I had to learn it the hard way. But I think at the core is like, are you comfortable enough in yourself that you give her permission to be comfortable in herself?
Yes, I would co-sign that 100%. He said, "What if the nerd is being himself?" And it could be. However, the energy that people were picking up when we dissected the video that he's referencing, the guy was breathing hard and all this stuff, and he seemed like he was nervous. But I would say this 100%. And it's true with marketing. It's true with when they give you coaching for content creation or whatever. Be yourself all the way. It's the lack of confidence is like smelling a body odor. I explain to people. It's like having a body odor. And it's funny you mentioned about the put something up on a vision board and then dissect what it is you like. That's part of one of the techniques I use for my coaching clients if they don't have the life they want. I say, imagine a celebrity, just anybody, so that you could think of who that person is, and then break down, why do you like that? And every time, it's their energy. It's literally their personality. I've never had somebody pick someone and go, oh, it's her long hair, or it's her skin color, or it's always, man, I like how she just walked into a room and the energy is like this, or she speaks her mind. It's always energy. So that's the thing that draws people in. Yes, you can't control. You cannot control the whether or not you find them physically attractive, but if there's any sort of possibility that she could be attracted, it's going to come through that charisma. I don't know. I love for people to take accountability for the things that they have within their control. And I think I wanted to give this as tips. We were going to, and then somebody had something to say, and so I didn't get back to it. But I don't want to not give tips. I want to lead people with tips. And so perhaps you being a man, you can help with this as well. The biggest one I would say is physically get strong. No matter your height, physically get strong. And it's proven scientifically that if you exert yourself physically, which the easiest way is the gym, or you could just go around chopping down trees, but either way, it's just the exerting yourself physically. Doing that builds your testosterone level. That it's a proven fact. And when a woman gets around that, that's intoxicating. Not to mention, when you know you look good, you walk different. You ever see? It's like the dude with the haircut. I've seen so many jokes and memes about that. How the dude walks in the barbershop like this. And it's funny because I don't even notice it before. But they walk in all like this. Man, they come out of the barbershop. It's like the slow motion, like, well, that's a girl. Okay, I don't know how to do it as a guy. But, it's like, I can't do a guy impression. But he just puts his shoulders back. And all of a sudden, he just wants to call everybody and FaceTime everybody. And it's just this energy. So look your personal best. If you have a gut, get rid of it. If you have bad skin, go to a dermatologist. If your teeth are raggedy, get your teeth fixed. If you feel like you have nothing to talk about, get up on common, what is it called? Current affairs. Talk to women. Go be in situations. Oh, this is a perfect one. One guy was saying how he was nervous around women a lot. And so he ended up working a job at a restaurant. And I said, you know what? That is perfect. You're going to be around women all the time. And so the women don't know you're getting practice, but you could practice your personality. Walk up, talk to her, do all this stuff. So he keeps commenting about get your money first. We've said that, but if it makes you feel better, we'll say it again. This is not in lieu of your purpose. This is how this conversation started. Why is it either or? So men, we are not saying either go after your purpose or learn how to be a social person in a society. It's not either or. It is, don't forget that women want to actually have a relationship with you. Don't forget that you are not just a bank account. So it's something about our I don't know, it's just something about our, I don't know if it's our society, it's something about humans. It's that it has to be all or nothing. And that's literally the opposite of what I'm saying. It's not all or nothing. And like she said, you don't have to be making a ton of money to hit the track or do something. Exactly. Look at it like your goal. So if you have your goal, this is what I told my son. You have your goal and you want to make X amount of dollars. Say you want to buy a car over the summer, or you want to get to this place. Make one of your goals physical. Make one of your goals to be able to go from doing this number of push-ups or pull-ups to this number of push-ups or pull-ups. You can work in, yeah, she said push at the same time. You can work it in. You don't have to wait until you're rich to start eating healthy. Put the soda down now. Be a whole package. It's the same thing I tell women. I'm going to wrap with this, y'all, because I just get on a rant. But it's the same thing I tell women. Don't just work on being a great woman. Don't just work on having all these skills. Honey, a man has to look at you still. So get in the gym. Get in the gym. Get therapy. It's not all about, the inside, just like it's not all about the outside. Anyway, guys, I don't know. I don't know if this made sense. I feel like with the comments, it's making me feel like it's still going over people's heads. This conversation is not for women. This conversation is not trying to teach women how to pick a man. I'm not speaking to women. I did a live earlier today. I said this conversation is for women. It's not for men. It's the reverse. This is the conversation for men. He said you can be buff all you want, but your face is still a butt. She won't want you. But this is my point. If that guy's face is a 7, it's going to be a 7, but at least he'll be a 7 with muscles. So whoever is going to pick a 7, she's going to pick a 7 that has muscles over a 7 that doesn't have muscles. That, to me, that's the toxic mindset. I mean, no shade, but you're commenting, so I'm going to comment back. That is the victim mindset. Well, I'm not a 10, so I'm not going to work out. Why? That's a defeatist mindset. I'm not a 10, so I'm not going to take care of my skin. That is a defeatist mindset. And this is the reason I did this live stream, for comments like that. She said, not really, because look at a lot of comedians. They get a lot of women. Hello? Be good at something. That's the other thing. Be good at something. When you're good at something, it makes a huge difference. Sometimes dieting in the gym doesn't help. Some people are physically... We're not saying that dieting and gym is going to make you gorgeous. We're not saying that. We're saying if you are stuck being a 7, why not be a 7 with muscles and great skin and great teeth? I feel like I'm a pop a vein in my head, so I'm just gonna let you make closing remarks, because it's not. It's just going over people's heads.
Yeah, no, I mean, so for me, right? So I work in tech, and before I worked in tech, I've had a shit ton of jobs. Like as a teenager, my first job was Jack in the Box, right? And I bring that up because the energy I had when all I had on my resume was Jack in the Box was different than the energy I have now. And that's relevant because now when I have an interview, I'm just, as much as they're interviewing me, I'm interviewing them.
Yeah.
Right? But back then, it was about performing. I'm trying to put my best foot forward to get this opportunity that you have. And I think what I see that differentiates the men who succeed versus the men who fail, the men who fail are performing.
Yes.
They are auditioning for an opportunity to be your whatever.
It's a mindset, right?
It's a mindset. And that mindset can only be gotten when you have an understanding and appreciation of what you bring to this proverbial table.
Yes.
So just like you put it, working out, the physical fitness is at the core of it. also past physical fitness and like scent and all the aesthetic stuff, it's really like an energy, like it's a disposition, right? I see a lot of men talk too much. That's a big pet peeve of mine. They'll get with a woman, and because of their nerves or because they're trying to impress her as quickly as possible, they just start rambling.
Yes.
Versus sitting back and listening, sitting back and asking questions. So, but that takes curiosity. That takes a sense of, I want to understand what makes you tick. Not an interrogation.
Right.
But I want to understand what makes you tick. I want to understand, why do you like pizza? And I put in a little bit of me during the whole process. But again, as much as I'm earning insight into you, you have to earn insight into me. And it's just a beautiful dance versus this nervous, I'm trying to get you to like me energy. Right. That a lot of men.
I love how you said that, because the next webinar that I'm going to be doing, that is the heart of it. The absolute heart of it. It's an energy within where it's this acceptance, and it's it's in life. You accept what is going to happen in life. You've made peace with the fact that you can't control it. And you say, whatever is going to happen, all I can do is my best. So if I show up to this date and I know that I've done everything I can to make sure my breath is fresh, I don't have stuff on my face, I've done my best to pick out my outfit, I kept myself in shape, I know I'm up on current events, I'm a kind person, I'm spiritually in tune, I've now done everything I can do. If you don't like me at this point, I mean, you don't go so far as say it's your loss, I'm arrogant, but it's like, okay, we're just not clicking. And I walk away.
In corporate America, they say we're not a good match.
Yes.
It's not a good cultural match.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And there's no anger. There's no me shutting down. I don't ever want to date anymore. There's no me sending you hate message. Like, that is so cringy when it doesn't work. And it's like, why? Why didn't you give me a chance? It's like, oh my God, take your L gracefully, Because it's a chemistry. Hey, Jessica. It's a chemistry. And so men and women need to come in with this, like, I'm light skinned. You might like dark skin. I have long hair. Maybe you like a short haircut where her neck shows off, it shows off her neck. I remember Elliot Hulse was saying his wife had long hair and he asked her to cut it because he said her neck was so pretty. Like, I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea. But with dating, when you come in with that energy of, hey, this is me, you're not groveling. And I love that you mentioned a job too, because it's the same thing. As a person who has been on the employer side, seeing people coming in, I could tell the people who were like sniveling, desperate for a job, knees are shaking under the table, versus the person who you're like, man, he probably has a couple offers. Like, it's just an energy.
Right. No, that's a fact. You lose confidence in the person who's trying too hard. Because you feel like, everybody wants to feel like they got a deal, right? Everybody wants to feel like they got this expensive thing at a good price. But it still has to be an expensive thing. So if somebody's begging you to buy a car, you're going to think the engine's fucked up. Hello?
You're like, let me check the Carfax. What is...
Exactly.
You selling it way too hard. This calmed me down because I feel like you can't argue with that. You cannot argue with that. If you really think deep psychologically, is if I have to sell myself, I don't believe in myself. Because if I believe in myself, I will believe that it's going to come to me what I deserve. If I'm doing a coaching consultation, I am not getting on the phone like, now I'm not coming at it like that. I'm like, this is what I offer. This is my rate. If you pick me or you don't, I'm not hurting for customers. I'm not hurting for clients. And so my energy is, if I were to come on like, please, well, I'll do it for $10. I'll do it for $5. They're going to be like, what kind of back of the trunk cassette tape are you trying to sell me? Like,
exactly.
So
your ability to negotiate is directly equivalent to your willingness to walk away. Right? Whether it's with a car, whether it's with the person who's willing to like, yeah, that's not the price I want, I'm out. That person has all the negotiating power. So it's the same for dating. Once you understand, yo, you ain't gonna find me again. So you better get it while it's hot. Well, you move a little different. You talk a little different. You walk a little different. So,
yeah.
I'm glad we were able to get on the same page.
I do too, and I get so passionate that I be like, I don't even know if I'm making sense. And I know women and men speak differently. We can be more flowery, and our paths go like this, and men are like this with their conversation. So I am glad that we were able to. And I think at this point, if somebody disagrees, they're just trying to be disagreeable, because it just makes too much sense. It really does make too much sense. And at the end of the day, I can only control what's happening on my side of the fence. I can only control what's happening on my side of the fence. And I will be darned if I am not going to do everything on my power on my side. I am never going to cry myself a river because I didn't get picked. I'm going to constantly go back to the drawing board. Even as a content creator, I do this. I'm going to keep going back to the drawing board and figure it out. If I want 100,000 followers, it's on me to figure out why I don't have 100,000 followers and somebody else does. It's on me, because you cannot argue with statistics. If I'm not getting followers, I'm doing something wrong. It can't be a conspiracy with every person in the world. Every person, it's just analytics messing with me. No, there has to be something that I'm doing where my message is not resonating. And if people don't take a position of power, they're always going to be the victim, and they're always going to be more helpless than they need to be. Because there are some variables you can't control, but the ones that you can, you better get to it.
No, I agree with you, and I think we talk a lot about the entitlement that women feel, but to your point, I think a lot of men do feel entitled. They feel like, okay, I make this much, I'm this tall, so I'm guaranteed, women, I'm guaranteed female attention. It's like it's an art. It's not a science. So, part of what I'm trying to do is be a translator, because again, just like you said, men tend to be very regimented in our thinking.
Yeah.
Tend to be the A, the B, and the C, and unfortunately, women's minds don't work like that. I remember when I realized that, how earth-shattering that was for me. So, I'm trying to translate that to the fellas.
And I wish people could see you, because I know what you look like. But I feel like you are the perfect person to speak about this, because you're not a rapper. You're not,
I used to rap as a big bass pistol bars. I used to spit some bars.
Okay, are you a retired gangster?
I am a.
Well, I shouldn't ask you.
Gangster.
I was gonna say I probably shouldn't ask that to it. Actually, if you actually were, get you in trouble with some people. Okay, I get the impression. I'll just say it this way. I get the impression you are not out here slinging. Okay, doing whatever, gang bang. I don't get the impression that today you're doing that.
Gang bang.
I just say it so like PC. You are a perfect example, because you were saying you were in tech, and you are not allowing, the geek side to be you're not leading with your tech. You understand that women see you before they interact with you, and so you could tell you hit the gym. You have learned to speak. You are not intimidated to come on a platform. And what you do requires you to be very confident, with your YouTube and things like that. So she said, gang, gang. So I feel like you're the perfect example of what we are talking about. And I like to use myself as an example. I should put pictures up of me in the 8th grade. Okay. I do not, and this is not me trying to fish for compliments. I personally do not think that I am the most beautiful girl in the world. I do not think that I'm a 10. I don't even think I'm a 9. But what I do is I am extremely confident, and I feel like I know what looks good on me, and I feel like I've learned different ways to wear my hair. I am trying to maximize what I have. I guarantee you, if I looked the way I did, you know, before I started making changes, people would not be looking. I feel like you cannot say I'm either born with it or you can't. No, you have to learn to maximize. So if I was a 5, I want to at least come up to a 7. Okay?
Yeah, so that actually reminded me of, do you know who Matthew Hussey is?
Yes, I love his stuff.
Yeah. So Matthew Hussey, he was telling a story a while back, and he was talking about how one of his ex-girlfriends didn't react the way that he thought she should when he broke up with her. And said that a couple years later, he and the young lady became friends.
Yeah.
And he was like, he summoned the courage to ask her, like, when we broke up, you didn't cry, you weren't, you weren't upset, what happened? So, he's bracing himself thinking, oh, she's about to say, my sex was garbage, or I had another guy on the side, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And he's sitting there thinking to himself, like, I make a lot of money, I'm well known, I'm in good shape, I'm a handsome dude, the whole nine. She said, you were boring. She said, you were boring. Now, as a dude, after your sex is trash, being boring is probably like a club sex. So, he must have the courage to ask, like, I travel all around the world. I'm flying here, flying there, speaking, this and that. How can I be boring? She said that when we first got together, all that stuff was exciting. Like, I was enamored by who you were and what you were doing and what you were building. It was all very exciting. But at some point, I realized that that's all you were.
Oh.
All you talked about was speaking. All you did was speak. All you watched was speaking. All we would talk about at dinner was speaking. And at that point, he said he realized that it's not necessarily the quote-unquote bad boys that are the most memorable. He said it's the ands. He said most women can go to the club, whatever, and find a bad boy. You go to church and find a good boy. But can you find a Tupac? Can you find a dude who's good with an edge or bad with a heart? Right? It's the contradictions, it's the nuances that make us memorable.
Thank you, God. This is all I've been trying to say.
That's when I realized it's all about not necessarily, you're not getting women because you're a nerd. You're not getting women because you're a nice guy. You're not getting women because that's all you are.
You're not well-rounded. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It is this beautiful balance. I use pendulum to death. I use it. It is the center is where it's at. If you are nerdy, no social skills, you're not attractive. If you have all the charisma and attractiveness, but you're an absolute filthy person, like your soul is wretched, you're not a catch. That's why this is titled, Why is Thug and Nerd Our Only Option? Men, learn social skills, have interests, have things that you could talk about, be an actual good human. And this is what my book is about, Why Women Love A-Holes. It's because, and it's only the unhealthy women who like him, because a healthy woman will recognize that he's an a-hole and move on. But what it is, remember how we were talking about the confidence? Because he actually doesn't want to be with her, he doesn't care about losing her. Therefore, his recklessness to the untrained eye looks like confidence because he literally doesn't give an F, okay? So to the untrained eye, not all of us, because most women would not go for him who are actually healthy and have something going on, but it looks like confidence. This guy is hard and fast in what he wants. He is not moving from that. He is immovable. That's the other thing that a lot of these nerd guys, they're just so stinking happy to get the date. They're like, oh, whatever you like. Like, come on, man, get a spine. We want, and we joke, behind closed doors, and we say, we want a man who could just tell us to sit down. But he's not doing it in an asshole way. It's like this. He leans in and he's like, babe, you're doing a little too much right now. Why don't you just go ahead and sit over there? That's different than shut your effing mouth, sit up. That's not an asshole. It's a dude who's like, babe, you had a little bit too much to drink. Why don't you go ahead and just sit down for a little bit? It's a balance. Women are begging, please have a balance. If someone comes up and is going to beat you up, be able to fight back. That doesn't mean I want you to be a thug and fight every single day. It just means if it gets a little sketchy, I don't want you running behind me, ducking under the table.
I want to say this. I want to play God's advocate, right? And unfortunately, I think the whole protection thing, I think, it gets misused a lot. Because one of the things I'm critical about is Hollywood made us think about protection in one way. It makes us think about it as, being ready to fight and be ready to pop off and being ready to whatever. And for me, as men of wisdom, we understand that protection sometimes is just advice. Protection sometimes is, baby, let's go.
Yes.
Protection sometimes
reading the room.
It's an environment. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
Unfortunately, I think what happens sometimes is that we keep popularizing a certain idea of what protection looks like. And we're almost encouraging men and young boys to adopt pseudo-masculinity.
Yes.
Because it seems like, women would rather err on the side of Future as opposed to erring on the side of Russell Wilson.
I got it.
So,
go ahead.
I'm saying that I would rather see more women attempting to turn Russell into Future, or more Future-esque, not Future, as opposed to what currently happens is most women are trying to turn Future into Russell.
So when you said about the maturity, this is the pendulum swing that I was talking about. So the guy who's scared and runs under the table, he's on this side. The guy who is ready, he wants a fight. He's looking to make eye contact to see who would dare, challenge him. That's the other pendulum. To me, the middle ground is I'm reading the room. I can tell the energy is turning. People have had too much to drink. Let's go. However, if something pops off on the way to the car, I'm not even questioning if my man can handle it. That's what I'm saying. Not because I don't like that guy either who's trigger happy. You're like, my guy, you're going to pick a fight. There are some guys who just love the taste, like they just love the smell of blood. And they're like, oh, I just want this. See, he said you're looking for a unicorn. This is the problem. The fact that someone thinks it's a unicorn, that's sad to me. That's what I married. Well, I guess he is a 1%er then. I guess I married a unicorn. But he was not that guy who was so insecure that he had to fight. My dad said if there's going to be a physical fight, one of us is not walking away from it. I don't fight for kicks. My dad is not that type. And that's the type of guy I was attracted to. Why does it have to be a unicorn? Why does it have to be a unicorn that this man has his... Thank you, Brittany. That's what I said. That he's smart. He goes to the gym and he knows how to control himself and he knows how to fight. Because being strong in the gym does also not mean you know how to fight. There's a guy who was very lean and he had like a black belt in mixed martial arts. So I don't understand why this cop out is that this guy has to be a unicorn. Why does he have to be a unicorn? I just don't understand. And y'all, I apologize. I don't know what's happening with Zoom. It just, something funky. It's just not, people are having audio issues and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, look, people can disagree. I call that the victim mindset. I say describing that guy that I described as a unicorn, that is a victim mindset. To me, the only person who says that is the person who does not want to perform. I don't see what's so complicated on taking care of your mind and taking care of your body. Same thing with women. They want us to have a sweet personality and be attractive. Those are two separate things. That's not a unicorn. I don't think a woman who is kind and beautiful is a unicorn, even though people act like it is. When a woman is kind of like, oh my God, that's crazy. You're actually nice and you're pretty. Like, what? Why? Oh, Lord. All right, guys. She said, you ain't listening if you're saying unicorn. Exactly. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Well, I don't know if he can. He might have got a call because it's quiet. But it shouldn't be rare. My point is, it shouldn't be rare. That's why I'm doing this content. I'm doing this content so that the men who are not getting picked can understand why they're not getting picked. Hit the gym. Learn what's going on in the world. Be around other human beings. Don't dominate the conversation. Don't talk all about yourself. Understand how to make a woman feel like you're attracted to her without seeming like a creep. Do I need to do a course? I mean, if this is unicorn land, maybe I'm sitting on $1 billion because I should make a course on this. Apparently, if this is unicorn territory.
Yeah. Well, again, I think that's the. It just highlights how men and women are different. Like this is the first time in history where a man has to be multiple things. Like back in the day, you were either a farmer, or you were a soldier, or you were a blacksmith, or whatever. So men have been used to being very myopic, right? And I think now women are speaking up and they're wanting men who are more nuanced and the whole nine. So in our defense, we're still just trying to figure this shit out.
Yeah. And in your defense too, there has been a huge push since the 60s to take the men out of the home. And so the people who suffer are the boys. The boys are now growing up with no male role model. A boy does not know how to be manly without a role model. It is not something that you just grow and develop. It's not like puberty where you just hit an age and hair grows. You don't just develop masculinity. It has to be cultivated. Same with a woman. If a girl is raised with her dad, she's not going to know how to be dainty, how to speak, how to carry herself. I had to be taught how to get into a car with a skirt on. If you don't know how to get into a car with your skirt on, you're going to flash somebody. If you don't know how to walk in heels, you look like a baby deer learning to walk. If you don't know how to clean your nether regions, you're not just going to one day be like, oh, this is how you clean your nether. As a woman, there's a way to clean your nether regions, okay? And yes, I said nether regions. There are certain things that have to be taught. And so a lot of these men are growing up without healthy role models. And the only men they are seeing and looking up to are these guys on TV who are showing the toxic stuff, the violent, the aggressive, the, just the toxic version. So I do think that we need to give men grace, but I'm realizing looking at these comments, I might need to have a basic class for men. Just a basic how to talk to women. How to talk to women. How to turn her on. Like when you get on the phone with a woman, women want to be the guy to be direct. The guy thinks, oh, I'm being polite by not being direct. No, be direct. Get on the phone. Girl, I think you're gorgeous. I want to see you. Are you available this weekend? Don't pussyfoot. These guys sit there, they're so timid that they want to stick around for 6 months and finally shoot their shot. You well into the friend zone. Because even if she thought you were attractive, because you didn't have the balls to speak up, she's not turned on. There are basic 1, 2, 3 things that men are not being taught. Be assertive. Put your hand on the small of her back. You don't need to be aggressive and grab her behind. That's creepy. But put your hand on the small of her back. Open the door for her. Sit with your back to where you can see the door. Just little things that if you have a man in your life, he will teach you these things that we might think are common sense, but maybe they're not. So,
and I think this kind of brings up a good point. Even as I'm looking at the comments, I think what's happening is that I think men are getting mixed messages, especially nowadays, because we're living in a very interesting time. This is the toxic masculinity slash female empowerment slash misogynistic slash a whole bunch of slash
feminist. Don't forget feminist.
Feminist and the whole nine. So, like, for instance, right, one of the conversations that I think is interesting is this whole thing about consent, right? Like, some people take it as far as literally every single step of the way. Can I touch you here? Can I kiss you there? And now, when you understand how the game actually works, you realize that, no, that's actually going to turn into the Sahara Desert. If you continue to...
Thank
But again, in these men's defense, if they're not growing up around actual men, if they're not growing up around masculine energy, and they're hearing this woman say this and that woman say that woman say that, then it gets confusing, and you don't know, because you're trying to do your best to be a good dude, right? If you're not just a horrible human being. So that's why, I think that's a fantastic point. It's about men getting with male leadership and male guidance and male mentorship, because if you listen to women, you might get confused.
And you know what? To your point, let's flip it. Same with the women. They have women telling women the way to get a guy is to be half naked, be as sexual as you can be, show that you're a good time girl, and get your bag because they'll respect you. That's what people are saying. Women are saying that to women. So the women are saying that, and then you have the guys who just want to hit it, who are like, yeah, that's what you should be doing. Hey, if you don't give us sex, we're out of here. So the women are listening to these toxic men and these women who don't know what they're talking about, and now they have modeled themselves. Look at the singers and performers and rappers who are now married with kids, but their lyrics are, be a thought, be a this, be a that. But in reality, they want to be a stay-at-home mom. So anyway, I think it's important for people to hone in on someone in particular that you respect. Don't just listen to everybody, because if you listen to everybody, everyone is going to tell you something different. You also have to see what is this person's track record? What are they doing? And is the opposite sex responding to what they're saying? A lot of these women will go on and have all these conversations, and the men are totally disagreeing in the comments, or vice versa. Men are giving advice and the women are like, hell no. I think that's another thing that needs to be factored in. That's why I try as much as possible to comment, thank you for the male cosign, when men say stuff. Because I'm like, I'm getting this from men, I'm regurgitating it, and so when I post it and they say, yep, that's what we're saying, that's helpful, because then it's not a woman just trying to push her agenda on women. Be assertive, they said, witty, firm, and laid back with some intellectual conversation. Have hobbies and interests as well as goals, pursuing goals accomplished. The weak women will weed themselves out. I absolutely love that. It is. I love it. I'm actually going to read it twice. Be assertive. Assertive is like intoxicating to a woman. Be witty. Yes, don't be dry as a board. Some guys are so stinking dry and all they can talk about is their job or what they do. Women do not like men bragging about their job the entire date. Be firm. That's part of being assertive. Yes. Laid back. And a woman is good. She'll bounce back. If he checks her, but nicely, it's the firmness that's like, oh, okay, I crossed the line. Oh, I'm going to learn. Have interest. That's super important. Don't be one-dimensional. Pursue your goals. Yes, have some. That's the number one thing for masculinity. Have a goal and pursue it. And accomplish your goals. And it's absolutely true for women and men. The weak ones will weed themselves out. The guy who only wants sex, he's not going to stick around if you don't put out. So don't look at that as, oh no, I messed up. No, you successfully weeded out the ratchetness. If you have the woman who is only interested in $50,000 dates, you got to, on my first date, fly me in a helicopter over, Vegas or wherever, take me to Cancun on our first date, or you better take me on this 5-star vacation. We've only been talking for 3 months. She'll weed herself out. If you understand, that's a gold digger sign. We got to take accountability. And like you said, not everybody is giving good advice. So it's just...
Right. And I think, what I hope men realize is that, so obviously, I'm not super old, but I'm not super young either. But I realized this recently that even if a girl is like physically attractive, drop dead gorgeous, if I don't like how she smells, it kills it for me. If I don't like how she moves, how she walks, it kills it for me. If I don't like, it might be something minor.
Right.
I don't like how she tweaks, and it kills it for me.
It's her vibe.
Exactly. So, I've been encouraging men to get to that point where, like, you're not coming in super gung-ho. Because the mistake men make, and this is from the good news to the futures, the mistake we make is that we've been socialized to start with women on a pedestal.
Right.
So when we see her from across the street, we think her farts smell like roses, and we think that her breath doesn't stink in the morning, and she looks like that when she wakes up. And it's like it's not true.
Right.
Now, you can learn that one of two ways, either with age and wisdom or with experience.
Painful experience.
Once you start, and going back to the job analogy, right? You realize that once you start making six figures, it's not all it's cracked up to be. So next time you're encountered with a six-figure job, you know that, okay, I need to start asking some questions.
What kind of benefits? Yes.
Yeah, what are the benefits? How many hours a week am I expected to work? Is it remote, the whole nine? Right? So if it's kind of counterintuitive, but we have to be less enthusiastic.
It's true.
We have to be less gung-ho and think this shit is magical. It's not. It's about two people figuring out if they make sense.
I'm so happy you said that. I've been such a fan of yours every time we talk. But I'm so glad that you said that. I heard somebody else say this. And again, with the pendulum, is I have to say it because there's going to be people who go to the extreme and say, yeah, that's why I treat women like dogs. Come on. Like, there's going to be that guy who comes in and misconstrues what you said. There's a difference between treating someone well and prematurely putting them on a pedestal. So you could be kind. You don't have to have an attitude like you sitting back like, let's see what you got and perform. Because that's what I was telling the women not to do. It's not about thinking you're better than this person or that they ain't nothing, right? It's about, let me just go in as a baseline. What I know is I like what I see physically. That's all I know. Let me look behind the curtain and see if I like everything else. That takes out all that funky energy where it's like, because you see the men who are like, I ain't paying nothing for women. And it's like, okay, that's toxic troll energy. Go in there and do an inexpensive date or a free date, but make it creative. Don't be so lazy that you don't do anything. Make it creative. Go out on a lake somewhere and go for a walk or go for a bike ride or go have a picnic on the beach. That's not an excuse to then act like women are trash just because you don't put them on a pedestal, but at the same time, you don't go in there, like you said, thinking that she is this inhuman person, and then you're just devastated when you realize, oh my God, she actually has flaws.
Right. And I think the job analogy is the best way that, I was able to make sense of it. Because, when you get up to higher level jobs, you realize it's not even an interview anymore. It's a dinner. Ironically, it's like, we're going to the steakhouse, the VP of this is going to be there, whatever. Because at that level, it's about being a cultural fit. So it's not that I'm looking down on Google. Google's a great company. But again, do my skills work well with Google? Does my cultural disposition work well with the department in Google that I'm going to be working with? So I'm not looking up or down at Google. I'm just looking at Google.
Yes.
Right? And then through that conversation, we figure out, people say all the time during jobs, like, it just wasn't a good fit. That's the energy.
Yep. And you keep it pushing. By the way, you were just recognized just for your audio, just for your sound. That's pretty impressive. So because of that, go ahead and plug your YouTube channel because I love his YouTube videos. Go ahead and plug.
Man, that's crazy. My YouTube is William to Talk. We got some cool videos, and check us out.
I love that. Somebody had put in the YouTube because he's listening on YouTube to the audio from Instagram, and he said, "Is that the guy from We Need to Talk?" I'm a big fan of his content.
Hey, shout out to you, bro.
So that's actually how I met him too, on his YouTube channel. But great conversations. But yeah, I hope these conversations are helping people. I think there are too many people out there who just, take a crap on women, take a crap on men, and paint this bleak landscape like we're all doomed. It's all horrible. And I just feel like... She said he's a unicorn. I love Sai. I love that you know, we are giving people constructive advice, because when we lose hope, that's when everything goes downhill quickly. We have to keep working on ourselves. We have to keep hope alive that there are other human beings out there who are going to who are going to be what we need. She said, if you're a unicorn, DM me. And speaking of this, I have a group that I'm putting together. Right now, it's everyone who is on my Patreon is going to be invited when it officially launches. But I am getting people together who are actively working on themselves, who are open to constructive feedback, who are going to come into a closed community, a private community. It's going to be open to everyone, but it's closed. You know, it's member only. So that we can have these conversations and start to build a rapport. It's kind of like people who are recovering alcoholics, they go to AA meetings. You got to be around people who are in the same struggle to encourage each other. And, you know, it's like, we don't want to be out there with these alcoholics.
Thanks.
He said, this is so funny. I'm almost tempted to bring this guy on, but I don't want my blood pressure. He said, you only speak with people who agree with you. That's so funny.
I'm probably the most disagreeable person. So that's ironic.
That's what everybody who disagrees with me accuses me of not being able to have a conversation. And the part that actually makes me laugh out loud is that is how I got my platform. I literally wanted people to tell me things I did not know. So that's the part that makes me, because it's always the people who I correct. If they're disrespectful, if they're condescending, and they're being foul in their communication, that's the only correction I'll make. You can disagree with me all day long. You can disagree on faith, politics, dating. You can disagree on anything. And I've even said it's actually boring when you talk to somebody who agrees with you because you're just da-da-da-da-da. He said, do you actually listen though? That is how I got my wisdom, love. That's literally how I got wisdom. So if you go into the world thinking you know it all, you will come out thinking you know it all, but will still know the same thing. So when you go into the world and you get pushback and the person says, no, that's actually not what I'm thinking, or this is actually what I'm thinking, that's when you get wisdom. So I didn't get to this place by accident. I have men say, wow, you have a profound understanding of men. Why? Because I actually listen to men. I've evolved over the years. So you are showing that you have not checked out my content, because if you did, you would see I have discourses live on camera. People have said, actually, it's this. And I go, oh, that's actually a good point. So you're shooting shots in the dark, buddy. You're shooting shots in the dark. Go through. If you want to see people disagree, then go to my content. There's plenty of it on there.
Hey, Yonci, thank you so much for having me on. I got to slide.
Look, me too. I'm about to have a heat stroke. It's so hot in here. Thank you for having the conversation. You guys go follow him. He's on We Need to Talk on YouTube. And until next time, guys, tell someone how much you love them. Good night. All right, so since you guys are still here, I'm actually going to close it down on Instagram. It's really funny how people will try to come for me like that. People will try to come for me like that. And I don't know why they feel the need to assume, they feel the need to be combative when there's how do you say this? You can have a conversation with somebody and disagree with them, but if you can have the conversation, that's the maturity. So this you guys can't see, because on Instagram he just kept saying like, oh, you don't have people that disagree with you. There's so many people who disagree with me, but it's funny. He's entitled to his opinion. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the conversation. I apologize that half the time I'm looking like this at my Instagram. I was trying to do both things at the same time. I should have turned my air on before we started because it feels like it's 90 degrees right now in my house. It's super, super hot. Anyway, guys, make sure you are on my email list. You can get the link from the description below. I'll post it in about the next 30 seconds. But get on my email list so that you can be notified when we do the next step with my community. I will talk to you later. Have a great night.